Hello everybody and welcome back to the Python basics. Right now we covered most of the things, but we still do have a few things left, such as functions in this video. So right now I will show you how you can create simple functions in order to automate some of the processes. Now you can create functions for basically anything, such as printing something, adding something, calculating something, or basically anything you want. Now right now we will use some of the simple functions, but let's actually try to implement a function on a program that we already coded before. So let me just find it. If I just type here ls python1.py, let me find it. It is not that one, it is this one. So let's actually use a function which will actually automate this process. So nano python2.py. Right now we can actually put this in the function and we can call that function with a simple line. So first of all, how do we actually declare a function? You declare a function, basically 3 letters, which is def, and then the name of the function itself. So what we want to do is after this, press here tab, so we can declare a function right here, since this part of the code will be going in our function. So every time we want to use it, we only specify the name of the function and then the number in brackets, and we will be able to perform all of this with just that. So let's start off by actually declaring our function. So as I said, we need to type here def, which declares a function, and then right now we want to type the name of our function. So that would be you can name it basically anything you want. Let's name it activity or something like that. It doesn't even matter. As we can see, the name of the function itself is different colors, so that's also how you know that you're correctly using syntax. And in the brackets, you can put something. You don't have to. Basically, in our function, we must put something so this function can have a use of it. And we will put basically any number. Now you might be asking, we needn't declare any number anywhere. Well, this is something that you will provide to this function later on. You do not need to declare this. This is not any variable. What you will declare is this variable right here afterwards. So it will basically use this variable throughout the function itself. So if you just type here any number, you will need to change all of this as well. So any number and this to any number. And also the next thing you want to do is tab all of this one time. So everything we typed, just tab it so it belongs to the function. And right now we basically finished creating our own function. So what this will do is once we call it with any number in the brackets, it will perform this task right here for any number. So we asked for number input. And right now, in order to call that function, we call it like this. So activity, which is the name of our function, and then we specify the number we want to perform this task on, which in our case is the user input number, which is under the label number. So we just specify here number, and that's basically it. This is the entire function written for a certain number. So let's actually recap what this will do. So we named it, we declared it, we also put something in it. So it only takes one argument, which is any number in our case. You could have named it anything basically, but you would have to change all of this as well to match the name of this in the brackets. So after that, we actually just reuse the code from the previous video. So this is just to check if number is 0, positive or negative. And basically after that we called that function on our user input number. So let's see how that will work. So Control O to save, Control X to exit, and let's run Python 2 once again. Enter any number 3, given number is positive. So enter any number 0, given number is 0, and -5 or -3, given number is negative. So you can see that this function does work. We just called it with this. And you can call it basically with anything you want. You can call it right here, activity basically of 3, activity of -3, and activity of 0. And let's delete this so it doesn't ask for this. We can also put this under a hash. That is also a useful thing to know. So basically a hashtag will perform, or will actually not read as a code everything that comes after the hashtag. It will put it as a comment. So everything after this will not be executed by Python. So right now we only have a function, and I basically just written here 3 numbers that will perform all of this on them. So first one will be positive, the second one will be negative, and the third one will be 0. So let's actually see how that works. So Control O to save, Control X to exit, and then we run the program once again. As we can see, given number is positive, given number is negative, given number is 0. Let me just add the end right here, since it doesn't put it. So given, and let's save this once again. So that is a simple use of a function. Now let's actually make another function that will actually do something with the strings. So we did something with numbers, let's actually do something that will include strings as well. So let's nano python5.py. Let's add the path to our Python folder. Right now, let's first of all take an input of a string. So we want to type here string. We will put it in a variable. We will name it like that. So raw input, in order to take the input from a user, and basically type any string you want. And right now, basically the user will get this input to specify any string it wants, and right now let's see what we can do with that. Let's actually try to reverse that sentence or any string that the user inputs. So let's do that. We will be reversing everything a user inputs. So we make a function for that. Of course, we will not be doing it without a function, since this is a video for functions. Define, and we can call it anything we want. So let's call it reverse string, which is a little bit long name, but it doesn't matter. So let's call it reverse underscore string, so it looks a little bit better. And then here we specify, or we name it anything we want. So any string. As in the previous video, we can name it anything you want right here. But make sure that this any string you use in the rest of your function code. So we tab right now in order to perform the next code for our function. And the only thing we want to do is use this simple Python print statement. So print any string, then open these brackets, then 2 times type these 2 dots, and then -1. This right here will basically reverse anything they type. It will print us everything in reverse order. So this is the entire function. Basically just with this simple print statement we can do that, and all that we have to do right now is call the reverse string. Reverse underscore string, and we call it on our user input string, so which is called string. So we Control O, enter. Now basically this might be a little bit confusing to you if you are an ultimate beginner, but make sure to actually go around and check some other things as well for Python, since it will really make you better understand what we will be doing later on. So this is just something basic that you need to know in order to be able to follow later on what we will be doing. So just wanted to say that. So let's close this right now. We saved it. We ls in order to make our Python 5 an executable, and right now we run Python 5. It will say type any string you want. We type here, for example, I don't know, bird, and we can see that it actually prints us the reverse order of the word bird. Let's try something else. So hello world, we can see it reversed all of that, so even 2 words can work. So hello world right here, and that is basically a simple use of a function that actually does something with the strings. So let's actually do another function that will include lists, for example. So let's use the same file, so we will just delete our previous code right here, so we don't create a new file for this. It doesn't really matter, this is a simple code anyway. And let's actually first of all create a list. So numbers number list equals, and then we specify 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is our list containing these 5 numbers. Now let's actually create a function that will, for example, print if the number is odd or even. Or even better, let us actually try to write a function that will print the number of odd numbers in the list and the number of even numbers in the list. So let's call it def, for example, odd underscore even, doesn't even matter. And what we want to specify right here is any list. So we will just call it list, since it doesn't really matter. You can call it any list you want, but make sure to use this name in the brackets in the rest of the function code. Then we specify 2 local variables, which is count even numbers, and when we set that to 0, and also count odd numbers, and we will set that to 0 as well. So we set basically 2 variables. One of them will count our even numbers and one of them will count our odd numbers. So right now, let us for first time use the for loop in our function. So for I, for example, in list, so for I in the list that we specified in our function, basically if, and then we open brackets, if the I module the 2 equals 0, then our number is basically even. So we want to add 1 to the count even numbers since we found 1 even number. So we can do that with count even numbers plus equals 1. This is basically the shorter version of equals count even numbers plus 1. So we can just type here plus equals 1, which will just add 1 to the previous value of even numbers. So, and then we want else. So else, whoops, you can see right here, I forgot to specify 2 dots. So this code would get an error. So right now what we want to specify is else, and we can just do the same with odd numbers. So count odd numbers plus equals 1. So if the number isn't even, it will add 1 to the odd numbers. If the number is even, it will add 1 to the even numbers. So we can see how many even and how many odd numbers there are. And we can do that with basically a simple print statement at the end. So this will finish the loop for every number in the list. And right now we can print, for example, the number of even numbers is, then we specify the %d, we close the quotes, and then %count even numbers. And then we also do the same, so print the number of odd numbers is %d, and then %count odd numbers. So it is rather simple, as we can see right here. It will just print out the number of even and number of odd numbers, and all we have to do right now is call the function on our already pre-specified list right here. So odd even out of number list, so number underscore list. And let's see how this will work. So %x, we already have it specified as an executable, and right now we just type here python5.py. So the number of even numbers is 2 and the number of odd numbers is 3, which is correct. So that would be about it for the simple use of functions. This is something very useful, and this is something that we will use, so make sure to fully understand this, look at some other tutorials if you want to, and make sure to actually understand everything that we do in this Python crash course, since it will be reported later on. So that would be about it for this tutorial. I will see you in the next one, and take care. Bye.